Alright, hello, says Nothing Nigelverse. It's Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. So, last time we looked at a match on this particular card was The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler in a ladder match for the IC title. But that wasn't the only ladder match, or at least a ladder adjacent match that we looked at. Not that we looked at, but that happened on the night. Hey, because we still had the main event featuring two guys hungry for the WWE Championship, and a pretty funny, kind of botch/like moment. So let's talk about it. I'm of course talking about AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose at TLC 2016. So as always, I'm not professional wrestling reviewer or analyst or anything like that. Just a man who was a good time, and I did have a very good time for great reasons and for unintentionally great reasons, but we'll get into that, of course. But if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and what I disliked about the match. And of course, first with this, and this is kind of unrelated, but with this match, I believe I've now officially reviewed at least one singles match from every member of the Shield, so very nice. But nevertheless, starting with what I liked, this was a really fun match, and really the feud between AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose was one of like the biggest, pretty solid feuds during this time. Like this was one of the big major feuds during that initial period of SmackDown Live back in 2016, and man, that initial period of SmackDown Live, and I don't think I quite talked about it as much when I reviewed The Miz vs. Dolph Ziggler, but I'll really bring it up here and really like bring the point home. But man, like SmackDown Live 2016 was definitely the place to be. Like SmackDown Live, it definitely was like, hey, it was almost to the point where, in terms of like storylines, and even to an extent action, like it was definitely outclassing Raw almost every week. And this was one of the storylines why, for good reasons, for some comedic reasons, which we'll get into. But yeah, so it culminated here in this match, and pretty solid feud between the two, but also a pretty fun match between the two, who quite a bit going on, brawling pretty much all around the arena, making use of tables, ladders, and chairs, because this is a TLC match, and at the very least, it's a TLC match that feels like a TLC match. Some crazy spots, including Dean Ambrose diving off the ladder through AJ Styles. Was onto a table, and AJ hitting a springboard 450 onto Dean through the table as well. Which, this is also unrelated as well, but man, looking at Dean Ambrose here versus looking at Jon Moxley today, if you didn't know that Jon Moxley used to be Dean Ambrose in WWE, you would probably have no idea who Jon Moxley is. Like, they look like two completely different people. But nevertheless, as Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles still putting on a very phenomenal, no pun intended, match with each other. Like just a lot of fun, some spill. There was quite a bit of physicality and brutality, not like super wincing, but and also just a lot of fun. Like, what can I say? I'm definitely, if you've seen a lot of these reviews before, or even know me on a personal level, like, you'll know, and I brought this up a few times, but I love ladder matches. Matches with ladders involved are definitely my bread and butter, and this match was right up my alley. Of course, something that I'm sure a lot of you guys have been waiting for me to talk about. Let's address the elephant in the room. AJ Styles ripping his pants. And it's like, this, I think, it didn't take away from the match. The match was still really fun, but man, AJ Styles, I believe it was on the spot where he was launched into the 4 chairs that he set up. So AJ Styles set up 4 chairs facing each other, and was going to slam Dean through it, but Dean ended up slamming AJ on top of it instead, and doing like I believe released the suplex onto the chairs. So AJ won on the chairs, and I believe that's the spot where his pants ripped, like right in the back. Thankfully, it wasn't. Well, first of all, thankfully it wasn't in the front, but also it was very noticeable. Like, it's not like a huge rip, but it is a very big, very noticeable rip in his pants, unfortunately. And it's definitely something that you notice, and I'm sure he definitely felt that breeze on his bum after ripping his pants there. Thankfully, it doesn't take away from the match. Like, it's just more so funny, and I remember a lot of people were talking about it and stuff. Thankfully, and it's also not one of those things that overshadowed the match. The match was still, like I said, really awesome, really fun. But AJ Styles ripping his pants was just really, really hilarious. But yeah, still a really fun match. Still a lot about it. You really felt it between the two, and of course AJ Styles ultimately picking up the win after James Ellsworth, of all people. Yeah, James Ellsworth. You may remember him from him jobbing out, being one of the jobbers that Braun Strowman squashed when Braun Strowman was going on a singles run. He was brought to SmackDown. He pretty much became like a full-time wrestler, full-time character, like a regular character on screen, costing Dean Ambrose the match. I guess that's a perfect segue into some of the things I disliked, like about how sometimes points in the match a bit brawl heavy, but then the turn from James Ellsworth, like pushing the ladder over and sending Dean crashing through it, and it's even funny because JBL, who is supposed to be kind of like the heel commentary, it's JBL, Mauro Ranallo, and Byron Saxton. Man, I miss Mauro Ranallo on commentary, but nevertheless, JBL pretty much was ripping into James Ellsworth pretty much the entire time, but especially goes hard with it, like even harder with it after Dean Ambrose after James Ellsworth turns on Ambrose and like pushes the ladder over and pretty much costs him the match. Then JBL pretty much just lets him have it, and it's funny because JBL, like I said, is supposed to lean more towards heel when it comes to commentary, so him berating Ellsworth for his essential heel turn on Ambrose was kind of a weird finish. I get why you didn't necessarily want Dean to win the match, but you still wanted him to look somewhat strong in defeat. But it was kind of a weird turn for Ellsworth to turn on AJ Styles, and they tried to explain it away on SmackDown, that being James Ellsworth saying, and because I've gotten wins over AJ Styles, I feel like he'd be easier to beat for the WWE Championship than Dean Ambrose. Which, on one hand, James Ellsworth had gotten a couple wins over AJ Styles at this point in time. Yeah, AJ Styles had lost to James Ellsworth, but that was because of Dean Ambrose, and because of Dean Ambrose costing AJ the match. Of course, at this point, Dean Ambrose had kind of taken James Ellsworth under, and this was something else that was brought up, and I guess was one of the things behind the turn, and that tried to add a bit more flame / intrigue behind the turn, is that at this point in time, Ellsworth had been Ambrose had essentially taken James Ellsworth under his wing, and so was buddied up with Ellsworth and stuff. So for Ellsworth to turn on him, but Ellsworth, big hole in your logic. The fact that Dean did it help you out with those wins and stuff. Ellsworth did get his match against AJ, and of course he lost. But it did give us another funny moment with Ambrose just coming down to the ring. Ellsworth there, tried to explain. Ambrose just hit him with the dirty deeds and then just walked right back out. That was pretty funny. But yeah, kind of a weird turn in that regard. It almost makes sense, and it almost does make sense from a storyline perspective because Ellsworth's not really supposed to be that bright, but it is kind of weird. Hey, it's something, and I think this was kind of the idea where it's supposed to be in kayfabe. You wouldn't have gotten the wins over AJ Styles if it wasn't for Dean Ambrose, but it did constitute the turn. So Ellsworth did turn on Ambrose, and obviously Ellsworth would be heel from this point on, and even align himself with Carmella. Oh yeah, there's that. But otherwise, pretty solid match, pretty funny wardrobe malfunction, I guess, from AJ Styles. Wasn't just a really fun match in that regards to like a pretty solid match. Like the match will definitely be remembered for the aforementioned wardrobe malfunction, but it was still a really great match. And man, like I said, SmackDown Live was definitely on fire at this point in time, and this match definitely one of the indicators of that. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts on the match and my review. If you like to select the match, if you like to select my review of the match, let me know. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.